Hit the button.
And we are live with a black screen. Let's see. There we are. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Fitness Marketing Hub's live stream. A little late today. We're doing a 12:30 Eastern Time live stream, but for those of you who can make it, you picked a very good day. I have Kristen Crowley with me today. Did I say that right, Kristen?
Yeah. Yep. You said it right.
Just so you guys know, Kristen and I had our very first conversation ever about 30 seconds ago. So I'm learning stuff as we go today, but I do know quite a lot about Kristen and what she does. So there'll be some good stuff. Like, as you guys know, I stay in my lane. I focus a lot on YouTube and growing YouTube, monetizing YouTube, using YouTube to build an online business. Kristen does much the same, but she is not specific to YouTube. Kristen, I'm going to actually give it to you right now to give a little bit about your background so we know what we're getting into today.
Yeah. What are you getting subjected to, guys? Get ready. Yeah, we followed each other for a while, and I actually loved Fitness Marketing Hub because I don't do a lot of YouTube, and that's actually not my forte. So that's how we kind of found each other before. But my area of expertise was in television. So I was a TV news anchor for 12 years on live television for over 17 years now, and started out as a bartender. Always loved the fitness world. So I've always kind of melded things together. So I used to do design coming out of school. My actual degree was in fashion merchandising, which is nothing that I do now, which is really funny. But all those things helped me design things for people and their brands. And when I left TV land, is what I call it, I am a recovering news anchor at this point, and I dove into the fitness world head first. And it was really great to, kind of put all those things together. And I really help people build these brand images because I realized how important in all of those things, how much your reputation and the quality of what you did stood out. So really we fine-tuned that and kind of made it in a way that works, kind of cuts through the bullshit. And that's how I operate. I live in Virginia for all of you who are joining us now. So it's definitely a fun time down here. We're in lunchtime. My dogs are sleeping next to me. So if they make a lot of noise, I'm going to say that already.
I wish mine would go to sleep. They're walking all around my wires right now. So if I go black all of a sudden, you'll know why.
Yeah. Hey guys, how are you? This is great. So so where should we dive in today? What do you want to start with?
I think really at this point in time, my personal opinion, and I don't know what yours is, but good morning, KJ. I'll catch up here. Fitness Strong Health. Good morning.
Hi, guys.
Hit your goals. Kim, good morning. I think a good spot to start is, to me, right now is the time to be planning for January 2022. The highest point, the highest point of every year for fitness, for training, both in gyms, online, anywhere, is January. Once you hit mid-December, which is really 6 or 7 weeks from now, everything's going to die off for a couple of weeks, but then it's going to explode. So to me, preparing for that now is important. I've got my own philosophies on this. I can talk till I'm blue in the face about what I feel people should be doing. But one thing that I don't talk a lot about utilizing Instagram, utilizing, Facebook, things like that. Like, what I really want to do and draw from you today is all the stuff that I don't talk about. I want to hear from you as far as what do you feel these guys should be doing? I mean, if I were to put this into like a layman's term right now, they want to grow their channels and they want to take full advantage of January. And not necessarily, you don't have to make this specific to YouTube. This can be specific to online personal training.
Yeah.
As far as making money, growing the audience on any platform. Because I know that the guys that I have here, a lot of them have communities on Facebook and they have Instagram accounts, and they do try and utilize all of it. So that's really what I'd love to hear from you. And I love getting new perspectives in. I may jump in with more questions than anybody today, but
I love flying off the cuff questions.
Yeah, and this is a live stream, so it's going to be all over the place. There's lots of rabbit holes.
We didn't pre-plan anything because honestly, I like authentic conversation, and I think people can tell when you're contrived. So there's my biz partner,
Yep,
Jill. She's on there, so she's joining.
Before we even start, what is the website you and Jill have, so these guys will know?
Oh yeah, it's reframeyourbiz.com. So that's it on Instagram and online. That's it. Just reframe your biz. Super, super easy. And we, I want to get through a couple like myths, I think, first for people when it comes to brand imaging, because I think everybody out there, and you said this, some people, they just want all the attention. They just do whatever it takes, which is where the sexy photos in fitness. We all know the arched back, skimpy bikini, doing workouts in bikinis, all of those things.
Yeah.
Is that really attracting the people who are going to pay you? And we've come up with a little different kind of acronym instead of your ideal client, because they always hear that, especially in Instagram world, attract your ideal client avatar. And that's kind of the big buzzword. We thought long and hard about this, and Jill and I came up with, instead of that, it's really an MVP, but it is not your most valuable player. It's your most valuable payer. It's the person who's going to, at the end of the day, give you money. So everybody else is there just to maybe gawk and Google at your photos and send probably inappropriate comments, because we've all gotten that too. And what is that getting you in the end? It's getting you more of those people that you don't want on your channel or your Instagram or your Facebook, that are really just taking up space, and they're killing your engagement. They're really not getting you to your authentic people. So we try and focus on MVP. So I encourage anyone out there, especially with a fitness brand, who are you trying to help? Like, who is the person you're helping? Because if it's not someone who appreciates, a half naked oiled sauna photo, then they're probably not going to be your ideal client, and they're going to be turned off. So you're losing money, but you're gaining followers. So if that makes sense to people, that's kind of the first thing we always make people do. And right now, planning for next year, so many people in the fitness world, and I want them to understand this, you are a business. Your brand is a business. You're not just a personal trainer. You're not just a coach. You are a full-fledged business, and you deserve to run it that way. So by missing out on all those steps of building an actual brand foundation, which is really knowing who your MVP is, knowing your keywords that you're going to use online to attract that person, knowing your brand mission and your basic statement that you're never going to deviate from. Like, this is my mission, my why, my, creed, and I'm never going to deviate from it. It makes you, really sets you up to be able to make the big decisions later on what to invest in, what to spend money in, a lot easier. So that's kind of nice, like, for people to take a step back, I think, before next year hits, because we've gotten pretty distracted with being online all the time. And I think everybody needs to kind of take a couple steps back, we call it the unsexy work. You have to do that. And definitely take a step back and do that part of it with building your brand. It's definitely a couple things that we always tell people to do moving forward is really set up a plan, because when you're just throwing spaghetti at the wall to see if it sticks, you're not gaining anyone who's going to give you any money.
We have very, very similar thoughts on all this stuff. So that's good. I look at, it's kind of a push-pull thing. And I've dealt with this with clients, and I see people that go through it where they do try and transition their business into more of a business. And you'll see them maybe pull back a bit on the bikini photos if we're dealing with females, and all of a sudden it becomes more training stuff. But the problem is they see their engagement go down, which is natural because you didn't have the right audience to begin with.
Yeah.
And you have to stay course. But usually what happens is engagement goes down, anxiety picks up, out comes the thong pictures again, and we're back to normal. And I mean, like, it's, people really do. I mean, with my background in video, I've gone through it where you can create a video with car crashes and explosions and women in bikinis and all that kind of stuff. And you can spend $250,000 on a commercial, but if it doesn't resonate with the actual audience who buys your product, then it's just, to me, it's a polished turd.
Yeah.
And boys, stop fighting. We're live. Not nice.
Mine's passed out. There we go.
Mine are like puppies, so that's the problem. A couple more years, hopefully they'll do the same thing. They just had lunch, so they're but yeah, and that's, I see that, and it's the same thing I see with YouTube. It's, the first thing that I do when I work with clients is I do try and get them to first off figure out exactly what the end game is here. And if your goal is Google AdSense money, for starters, you're screwed because there's not a lot of money in that. But at the same time, if that was your goal, then you need to realize that, if you're using the wrong kind of music or things like that, that will demonetize you, then you'll never get that money. If your goal is getting brand sponsorships, it's funny because I had this conversation with one of my clients yesterday. If you're looking for brand sponsorships and you're using commercial music as an example, any business that's big enough to pay you the good money for brand sponsorship, they have compliance. And once compliance looks and sees, commercial music on your page, they're not going to sponsor you because they can get sued, or they think they can get sued. And so that causes a problem. So there's always these little things, and it's always a matter of who's your audience and where are you sending them. If your goal is a membership site or a private membership thing, or driving somebody to a physical personal training studio or something, then you start with that, and then you figure out who your audience is, and you back it up and you present based on that. So definitely it's hard for people because usually it's one of those things where it gets worse before it gets better. But that's why it's like, this is the absolute prime time for this, to start really thinking about, what do I want to present on January 1st? Because everybody's going to be out and about. There's going to be a huge audience, whether it's digital or in person, and prepare yourself for whoever you want to pull in. Really is how I put it. But
yeah, I agree. No, I 100% agree, because it's really planning, like you said, the end game, and working kind of backwards, like reverse engineer your plan, because you have to know where you're going. Otherwise, you're spinning your wheels, and you're also. We had, we have our webinar that's going to be launching, but we have some analogies in there. Like, would you pay someone, would you do work that you were not qualified to do? Or would you, waste 3 weeks, thousands of dollars to do it yourself? Or would you just go and pay someone $1,000 and get it done the right way? So knowing key people to bring in to help with your brand, or to get you in the right direction, or at least help identify where you're going. The fitness world, we know this, like, it's noisy. There's a lot going on, and there's 80 million different goals for everyone out there. So there's like zero judgment. I mean, I love the sexy photos. I enjoy looking at them as even as a female. And if you are, like, maybe you're promoting a product or a bikini, or you are solely a fitness, competition trainer, then yes, you need to have those photos or those type of videos. But if you're not, I mean, the vanity metrics are, they will screw you time and time again. And I recently, because I was in live television and a local news person, you have a lot of people follow you that are just, I'm be very blunt about it, like horny old men sitting at home that really just want to send inappropriate messages. And I get it all the time. So it has taken me, I've been gone from my morning show for 2 years now. And I had to personally went in and removed about 2,000 people from my account just about 2 months ago. Just because, again, I was getting, when people come on your page, and even if you're having really great content, but all of your comments are very derogatory and from people that don't fit your ideal client type profiles, people will see that too and get turned off, because they'll be like, oh, those must be the people that they work with. So perception and your reputation goes in all angles. So maintaining that, from your verbiage to your images to the way that you speak to people online, it really honestly resonates more than you think. Like, the people who really matter are paying attention to those things. That's the biggest thing.
Exactly. So let me just throw like an analogy at you. It's probably the easiest way for you to really get fired up.
Okay.
So I'm a female. I'm 37 years old. I'm a personal trainer. I have a YouTube channel with 57 followers. I get about 12 views in each video. I also have Instagram and Facebook, but I don't really know what to do with that. I'd like to start building to make money online. Doesn't have to be on any particular platform, but I'd like to create a presence that draws people in that potentially could be business stuff. Anyway, like, if somebody came to you with that problem, what would you say?
I would, a mirage of questions. So where is most of your income coming from right now?
I teach classes at a gym.
Okay. What's the typical age group of people who attend your classes?
Like 24 to 50.
Okay, so key demographics across the board.
Yeah.
All right. If you guys don't know, 24 to 55 is like the key demographic for women across the entire board. So pretty much the range is there.
Yeah.
And do you have a solid offer that you're going to be selling to them?
I don't really know. That's why I've come to you. Like I'd like to get more people in my classes, but if you think there's a better way I could be doing this, I'd be open to that as well.
Yeah. So if you were one of the women in your class that you've had conversations with, and are they working during the day? Like, where do they spend most of their time outside of, working out and work?
Usually they come from work for noontime classes, and they come from work for like 5:30 classes.
Yeah. So most of the time, the only time they ever have to be online to see promotional material is right before work, at lunchtime, and when they leave your class, right?
Right.
So they're probably people who are spending most of their time on Instagram. That's probably the most popular for that type of demographic, because they're not watching long form videos. They don't have time for that during the day. So YouTube is a great catalyst to get them to the Instagram. And then I guess the next step we would take is, what are the images that you already have on your page? What does it look like?
My kids, my dog, my cat.
So they know nothing about what you do by looking at it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So that's something. They go to your page, they're confused in any kind of social media. As soon as you jump on something, if you don't know clarity within those first couple of seconds, confusion makes people leave. So if we're not hyper clear on exactly what you do, your 5 keywords that define your business and your brand messaging, they're going to run the other way, and they're never going to come back, because there's a million people probably in your town who teach out of your gyms that they could go to, right?
So do you feel like when somebody's trying to utilize social media for business purposes, should they be dedicating a space or that space for the business? Like, what are your thoughts on, here's me and my husband out for dinner, or here's my wife and I on vacation, and then, oh, here's me at the gym. Do you think that for business purposes, do you think that mix works or no?
It is a very slippery slope for most people. So if people don't know you yet, it can get super confusing. So we always tell people, we actually just recently had a lady, she at the age of 57 has just discovered pole dancing. Okay. She's a professional, like, competition pole dancer. Like, she wants to compete in the pole Olympics. Like, that's her goal.
Yeah.
And she also has been a mortgage broker for 30 years. So her page is mostly loans and some healthy food and some pictures of, again, her cats and dogs.
Yeah.
And we looked at it and I was like, if you came to your page for a loan, and you saw these pole dancing videos, what do you think that your average client would do? They'd probably be a little turned off, because they're like, most people don't know that world. And if they're not in the fitness world, they don't know that it's kind of athletic as well.
Yeah.
So they're like, wow, okay. Yeah, that's great. I love that. So, Jeff, if you confuse, you lose. That is the best statement. And so we took her and we said, okay, let's create something that has to do with your pole page, and that will tie in the nutrition. So creating those content pillars, like we have in Reframe, we call it the framework, because we box around what our core mission is. So you want to create at least 3 to 5 things that you're going to talk about consistently. So if it is someone in fitness space, yes, it's okay to talk about nutrition and food. People are curious about that. They want to know about your workouts. They want to know about your athletic wear, anything that ties into it. But when we start throwing in vacations and dogs and kids, unless your ideal client has those things in their lives, they are specifically, you're only targeting moms who love Labradors or something like that in that nature. You don't want to use those photos. Save it for the stories. So I always tell people, especially on Instagram, your feed itself is your resume. That's your highlight reel, your resume. All the fun shit goes in your stories. Like a lot of your meals, because again, how many people really care what you ate for dinner? Like, nobody really wants to see a photo of your salmon like 800 times. I mean, they just don't. Stop doing it. If you're not an actual nutritionist or a chef, stop posting 8 million meals, because you're not certified to teach it. You're not making money off of it. So why are you wasting valuable real estate?
My rule of thumb on that is, if you have nothing to say, shut up. Like, because I think sometimes people do, they wait, well, I got to post 100 times a day because that's what Gary Vee told me to do. So there's everything they can do. They're taking pictures of it. And to me, it's like, if it's not adding to this build or this presentation, don't worry about it. You can be quiet for a day if need be. Everybody has down days. But I think, again, it also comes to keeping up with your next door neighbor on Instagram who basically
Yeah.
is posting every day. Maybe they've got, backlog of stuff, but
Yeah.
like as far as it's interesting because like I can tell even from what you're speaking, like you're very much from the narrative of Instagram, which is interesting to me because I'm very anti-Instagram.
You're the other side.
It's not that, see, and this is something that I don't know about. Like I always tell people to be very cautious and almost avoid sharing YouTube content on Instagram. And the reason being is that if you followed my workout channel, for example, I mean, to me, somebody needs to be at home ready to work out, to do your workout. If I post it on Instagram, like you said, is people looking for that little short fix.
Yeah.
So if I post a link and they click through on it and they watch 10 or 20 seconds of my video, then, they get to their subway stop and off they go. Then basically that tells the YouTube algorithm that this 20-minute video can't be very good because people are abandoning it 20 seconds in.
Yeah.
So that actually affects your impressions because if they see that, you don't rise in the search results as much. So I try and get people to really focus on YouTube because of the fact there is 2 billion people on there at any given time.
Yeah.
And find that audience and bring them in because they're ready to watch you now and they're searching for you now. And those are the people that hopefully will watch your entire video, which shows the algorithm that, okay, this video must be good. Let's show it to more people. And okay, well, people that are searching for kettlebell workouts are watching this video. So let's show it to more people. That's how that works. Yeah. I don't know how Instagram works with that stuff. I don't know if it is confusing even to their algorithm when it's a vacation picture and then it's a workout picture.
It is actually. And that's a great point to bring up. And KJ, I'm really glad that you did didn't mix them because again, so this is the big thing with Instagram that happened over the last year that everybody needs to know about. So already with YouTube that it's keyword based. Like you have your keywords, you have searchable keywords, your short tail, long tail, you have all those things on here. Instagram has done away essentially or made hashtags more irrelevant than ever. So
that just came up recently, didn't it?
It did. So
can you explain that to me? I'm sorry.
Yeah, it started back in, I guess, so what we're in October now. So this started actually not kind of Q2, like end of the second quarter where they started to shift it. So what they're doing now is they have shifted their algorithm mainly because they know that people are searching for entertainment style content.
Right.
So people want video, they want fun things. It is very hard for them to regulate in a live or anything like that. Same with Facebook. Why your Facebook posts always perform better when it's a live. Right. Because the algorithm can't predispose what it's about. So they have to show it to everybody and get a reaction first. Same with Instagram. So they have kind of deferred from hashtags. They still work. Like I'm not saying don't use them, but now it is a complete keyword-based platform, the same as Google. So if you are not using conducive words that are in your name, your username, your bio, and even now your alternate text on the images, which you can do alternate text to get searched, and in your actual captions. So they now use the words that you put in your captions as part of their algorithm. And so if you're typing in kettlebell workout, if someone has in their bio possibly like, home chef, nutritionist, meals on the go, and, then they have underneath, they have all posts of food. Everything is food, everything is food, everything is food. And then they post one thing that says kettlebell. The same with when your website doesn't match Google with words. It will throw off what they're saying. And they're going to say, okay, so this person isn't really 100% this, so we shouldn't recommend them as much. And the same with you. I mean, they'll basically categorize you now on Instagram based on your consistency, which is why one of our biggest things are using those keywords. So if you know your 5 base keywords, say it's women, fitness, weight loss, and maybe it's a city, especially if you have a brick and mortar, the city you live in. If you have those words written out and you make sure that you're using those in your bio, in your username line, and in your actual captions, it will help you get seen by more of the right people that are actually searching for those. So I love it because it's making things more discoverable in a way that's authentic. because people can't bullshit around like saying they're a trainer and then saying that they're also, a chef and then they work at a bank.
Yeah.
They can't do that anymore. They have to stick into kind of what their niche is. So we've had to kind of redirect a lot of things. We've written our bios several times to make sure that our keywords show up multiple times throughout our Instagram page, as well as our Facebook page, our website, our non-used YouTube channel that exists but doesn't get used.
So I'm not going to plug your YouTube channel today.
It has really good stuff on it. We just haven't posted on it in a while. But the same with that, we use the same keywords across the board. So ours are like branding, women, coaching. Those are our words. So it is really important, and it's become more important than ever. And I think that's any platform you're on. If you are not consistent, these algorithms are so advanced at this point, and there's 15 different versions of algorithm software and what they do.
Yeah.
But it's fascinating because it's learning. And if you're not consistent, it's like, oh, they're lying. Boop, they're lying. Same as Google. They'll just keep dropping you in rank if you're not consistent. So I know that's hard for people when they're, losing followers. Look at the end of it. Are you getting people, the 3 people that maybe followed you that week? Are they good people that you've actually talked to and they've commented and you've had conversations with? Then they're worth more than 3,000 jackasses on your page that aren't doing anything. So it's a hard mind shift set. I get it. Like I do it to myself all the time. Like
it stings. And I get that with people, and it's worse for the ones who may have dabbled in the fake follower thing, because for them to suddenly abandon that, it's visual. You see that. So it's almost embarrassing. It's like, oh, I lost 20,000 followers overnight. But it's like, it's just, to me, it's like doing this for vanity metrics it's a lot of work for nothing. Like who cares about that? And I use this particular channel as more of a example than I even do the other channel that I've got, because this channel literally started May 2020. And it grew to 1,000 in almost exactly 365 days. Now it's at about 1,500 subscribers. And so many people, I'll get comments once in a while. It's like, you even take your own advice because you've only got 1,500 subscribers. But it's like, without getting into details, if they knew what I was banking off this channel every month, they'd have a completely different story. So I'm totally fine with 1,500 subscribers, because I would dare say that almost every person that subscribes to this channel is somebody trying to grow a YouTube channel. I'm getting exactly the leads that I want. And for me, it's like, it's the 2% conversion. If I can convert 2% of my audience into clients, I'm doing very good. And the fact that I'm growing by 150 subscribers a month right now and growing, that's giving me 150 new leads every month. If you put that in the physical sense, if I'm selling home gyms and I have 150 leads, I'm going to sell 5 or 6 gyms and make a commission off that. So it's like, you have to rewire your brain to stop worrying about 1 million subscribers or whatever it is, because that's not even something that should be on your mind right now. Right now, it's just, here's where you are, wherever that is, and here's where we go from here. And I know channels now that have got sponsorships only having 500 subscribers. There's ways to do that. So
I mean, but we've been conditioned that way, right? Because it's all about attention and our celebrity status and all those things. But you said earlier, like Gary V, and like, he can post whatever the hell he wants because he doesn't care. He already has money, but he's also a smart businessman, and he knows what he's doing with it. And he can post whatever the hell he wants. But there, a lot of, you see these celebrity status and influencers, and even on, YouTube, people put content up and you're like, what the heck? Like, I can't watch this. It's terrible. But people like a train wreck, but that doesn't mean they're supporting the train wreck. That just means they like watching it. The people that and I think with you working with brands, and we work with products too, we have Reframe we started that 2 years ago, and it was mainly out of the need to give people like a solid foundation in branding. And, it shocks me because we have people ask all the time, I'll never be able to work with a brand. I'll never get paid. And I'm like, well, when I had my own personal page, I don't do brand partnerships on mine anymore. I'm like, I don't have that many followers. I mean, in comparison to most people, but I would still get $300 to $800 for a post
Mhm.
because I was consistent. I was honest. I would be, professional in dealing with them. I did everything on time. So, there's a lot that goes into the brand side, and people do need to realize that. Like they're not stupid. The
Yeah.
people who run these companies will look at everything you're doing,
Yeah.
and if it's consistent and you have micro influencer status, which is, that 1,000 to 10,000 people following you, you have
Mhm.
more impact than someone who has 100,000.
Yeah.
And you need to realize that.
And the thing is too, is that in full transparency, some of these bigger companies, they don't understand, like they don't pay attention to that stuff. I mean, I know a lot of them do. And when I mentioned like the compliance thing, that's there and that's real. But I have witnessed YouTubers getting upwards of $100,000 a year for one post a month,
Wow.
that had very substantial fake followings.
Mm.
This is companies I've worked for. So it does happen, but that's fitness. And again, like some of these fitness companies, as big as they are, they're still run by vanity obsessed fitness people
Mm.
who would rather have somebody who's got 1 million followers and who they think like it's literally like a blind leading the blind thing. So that does still happen, but that's to say too, like for people doing this stuff, just because you have a fitness business, it does not have to be a fitness product that you represent.
Yeah.
My biggest sponsor is not a fitness product whatsoever.
Yeah.
So it can be anything. It can be
Awesome.
like room decor. It can be clothing. It can be like supplements, equipment. It can be all that stuff, but it can be things that are completely out of the genre. If
Yeah.
you have an audience and somebody wants to piggyback off the audience because they think they might buy something, like it's fine. You can present to anybody.
Yeah.
And that's essentially what I did is I put together a media kit and I mass sent it to probably 250, 300 different businesses. I got about 10 replies out of 300 and I got 3 deals out of those 10.
Yeah.
And those 3 deals is a salary for some people.
Yeah.
It's significant. And then, you always try and build on that because nothing lasts forever. And some have dropped and some have new ones have come in at the same time and they overlap. And so you just continuously work on that. But I think it really comes down to, and that's why it's great having companies like yours out there, that it's not as simple as make videos, they will come watch me become a celebrity. Like it's a business. If making money is what your goal is and building sort of a brand, it does take work. But the nice thing is as you do that work, it starts to work for itself. Something I tell a lot of my guys about is okay, is it there?
Yeah.
Is the fact that you don't have to keep up with a typical class trainer schedule on your YouTube channel, because when you go to a gym and do a class, once that class is over, it's gone. When you do a workout on YouTube, it's there forever.
Yeah.
And I still have workouts from 6 years ago that are still making a lot of money for me every month. So you can, once you get up and rolling, start scaling back to like one good quality presentation every week.
Yeah. I agree with that. For sure.
Like you don't have to, and you can start making products like here's a 30-day training plan utilizing my channel. And you'd be surprised, even putting that together. Here's a 30-day plan, using the workouts on this channel with links, and then you sell that for even $10 or something. People will pay for that because a lot of people may like you, they may like your channel, but they don't know how to use it. So they do the same workout every day because they like that one, but you can start to actually give them the structure and sell them the structure.
Yeah.
So there's so many different things there you can do.
The one thing that, I think a lot of people misunderstand when looking for brand partnerships, and KJ, again, good point, because they do look at I mean, obviously they want to get attention and reach.
Yeah.
That's anybody's goal on any platform. And it doesn't have to do, I mean, they don't necessarily, it's not the only thing, but the one thing you have to always think about is, are you best served hunting down these brands? Are they really going to benefit you when you're trying to actually convert people? So say you're a personal trainer teaching group classes, your goal is to sell one-on-ones, which are, maybe that's $80 an hour, where you're getting paid $50 for an hour to do a group class. You want to get paid $80 an hour to work with that person. Then maybe do a group class where you get paid $50 per person, but you can have 5 people in it and you're making $250 an hour. When you're looking at that, the time that you need to spend on social media, regardless of where it is where are those people going to find you? And is it worth a brand sending you free shit and taking up hours of your week to get you to post so you can try and build a relationship? Or are you going to dedicate that time to build an actual relationship that's going to pay you in the long run?
Yeah.
And does that brand that you're trying to work with or make you look cool even speak to the client you're trying to reach? So there's a lot of factors in that whole world that irk me in general. And it's really hard to pinpoint what's right for someone. But again, you're 100% right in the beginning. When you know what your goal is at the end, and then you build who you're speaking to, it helps you cut out the BS of all this branding stuff.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Good morning, Kay's Pilates. Nice to see you. And watching later, an Australian health company reached out for me today. Look forward to hearing about that.
Yeah, definitely.
KJ's Kay's Pilates, Krista, she's in Austria, and she's got a really good channel and perfect example of somebody who's really good quality workouts, and awesome. She's grown a lot in 2021 just from that consistency.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and she's usually
know your worth, babe. Know your worth.
Question: what's your number one advice on how to stand out as a fitness content creator, online coach without any education diplomas to fall back on? It's hard to stand out in this industry as it is.
So here's the point, KJ. Is it hard to stand out in that industry, or is it that all the people you follow are all in the fitness industry, so you think there's a lot of them? Because in actuality, there's a lot of people out there that are not in the fitness industry. We're a very small group, honestly, when you look at it. But because we all follow each other, we get this sense that we have taken over the universe and we're all that exists, but we're really not. It's a small percentage of who's online. To stand out, you have to niche down so specific to what you do and what you offer. So again, if you use yourself as an example, if you were searching for you online and one person here had, I again am a chef. I have a DIY section to my website. I'm a personal trainer. I focus on, behavioral things, whatever. And then you had one person over here who said, I just focus on weight training for women. Who would you end up going with? You'd want to go with the person who's the expert. So really becoming an expert in your field is what makes you stand out. So really, that's why I always say that unsexy part. Nobody wants to freaking do it, but you got to do it. You got to go back and write down exactly what your brand is about and who you're speaking to. Because if you don't, you're going to keep, again, trying to attract everybody, and it's not going to work. And I know, Reagan, you've dealt with this with your brands. You said the brand that you worked with has nothing to do with fitness. When you are really good at what you do specifically, people will find you. Jill and I actually work with a couple of companies. Our messaging online is 100% women in wellness and fitness and, building their brand. That is all we put out there. Every post, all of our messaging, all of our copy. Our two big clients from last year, one is a male-owned construction company that we do the messaging for, and the other is a banker who wanted to start a podcast, and we helped him. So we attract guys without trying. So I really encourage you to get down to the nitty-gritty of what you really want. And I actually have it here. This is, we have a little worksheet. So this is a little worksheet that we use for our clients, but you literally go through and put down their biggest fears, their biggest roadblocks. And so you know how to speak to them online, because really the only person you should care about talking to is the person who's going to pay you. Yeah. That's it. So once you get past that, narrow that down for me and send me a message, because I'm sure you'll have some aha moments of oh shit, I shouldn't have been saying this, or, posting. And again, use your keywords consistently on any platform. It doesn't really matter, but it's a great question.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's essentially, again, one of the things that I talk about a lot is the niching down. Yeah. And it's it involves finding out who you are and who you're talking to. And sometimes it's not who you initially wanted to be. And I think that's the problem, is people get tunnel visions. I want to be like that trainer who's so successful. And then, you find something. Again, this channel was supposed to be behind the scenes of me doing shoots and stuff. That's what, I ended up doing a rant video on this, is because I was seeing so many fitness channels and stuff that were bad. I did a thing here's why your channel sucks. It was an 8-minute video or something. And then it got attention on this channel. So I'm okay, let's try another one. and then slowly it morphed into what it is. And I've had things I've tried that have failed, and you slowly just kind of find your rhythm as far as that goes. It's the same thing with the fitness channel. It's not exactly as I had laid it out to be. For every person that comes on my channel, like one of the, and I've brought this up in these live streams before, my workouts, there's no music and the instructors don't talk. It's very raw ambient sound. And it was basically designed to replicate like a real gym workout, like you're in a gym just training, watching this person. I have people that go berserk. They hate it so much. They're like, why aren't you talking? Why is there no music? And they get really mad. But the people that like it, they love it and they go crazy. And they're like, don't change anything. This is awesome. I have to get up at 5:30 every morning and I try and work out without waking up my wife. This is great. And like we put all the sound time cues and stuff in there for people. Like, and the whole thing for me was play your own music, play whatever motivates you. Everything else is there instead of me putting, the generic music in there.
I love that.
Yeah. But some people actually like it with the ambient sound. They find it's like an ASMR thing. Yeah. So regardless of how many people hate it, that's fine, because the people that like it, they love it. So I would rather have 50% of my audience in love with my channel, because guess what? They won't leave, as opposed to 100% of them think it's okay. And so that's the problem. I think a lot of people, even people that I work with and follow my channel, they've all got a lot of talent. They do great workouts, but there's nothing making them stand out. It doesn't mean better or worse. It means standing out. Yeah. And finding that little thing that makes you kind of jump out at people.
Yeah. And it's what are people asking you the most? Like, what questions do you get the most of? Because that's what people are coming to you for. And again, that may change your trajectory of where you're going in your business. I left TV land and I decided I was going to just help women in fitness build media and PR and land media and PR on television. That was what I was going to do. I can tell you that page on my website is still unfinished 2 years later, because it was something I thought I was supposed to do, but then I kept getting pulled more and more into the brand and image side, mainly because I love photography. I was a creative. That's my wheelhouse is in the creative space. I met my business partner, who was on the cover of 5 magazines and has modeled her entire life. And we kind of came together. Like, we both love photos and we love creating images and capturing images for people on the creative management side. So why don't we just start pushing in that direction? So once we kept pushing in that direction, it led us through the year. Again, you're going to change your bio. You're going to change where you're going a couple of times. It's fine. We've changed and shifted several times during the pandemic. And we went to an online course, which, that's when we were doing the YouTube videos, because we were getting people into an online course. And, it worked great. But then we got pulled more into really going to these things and creating physical image and product for people. Yeah. And it's amazing where it'll take you when you listen to who is asking you questions and what they are asking you for. Right. So it's definitely one of those things that you have to trust it and get out of your own way, because we want to be, like you said, a certain person or show up a certain way to get attention. And that might not be where you're needed. That might not be your zone of genius. So finding it, once you do find it, it's like that light bulb goes off and it feels so damn good to have the right people.
I think a thing too that people forget sometimes is that in 2021, the days of trying to guess who your customers are gone. There's so much analytics that are available to us. You can see this if the majority of your followers are male or female. You can see if they're between the ages of 18 and 24 or 55 and 64. Like that's stuff that was never available in the past that we've got now. And again, I've never looked too deep into Instagram analytics, but I know YouTube has substantial stuff there, and I check it all the time to see who's there. And then I basically cater my content to that. Yeah. Maybe I want a channel that I can do workouts for 24 to 32-year-old men, but if I've got 60 to 75-year-olds, then that's what I got. So let's work with them. Um,
Speak to your audience.
yeah, exactly.
Plan
Exactly.
the
Like,
meeting.
it's not always going to be what we want it to be, but
Yeah. No, it's not.
Marquita,
All
what
right.
are your tips for showing up on social media? Everyone has different opinions of how many times to post, etc. Best ways to create a routine for it.
Okay, so this does differ in all the platforms because you can post every day, you can post, once a week, and I know on YouTube, what is your usual, like, how many of times do you post? Do you just do one a week right now
My
for the channel?
what I do and what my goals are are completely
Yeah.
different. What I'm planning to do now that I've got a bigger announcement that I'm going to be making here shortly. Some of the people know about it, but
Okay.
I'm hoping to do one video, one live a week. Because
Okay.
between
So,
that and then on my other channel, it'll be one workout, one tutorial a week. So that's 4
yeah.
videos for me.
Okay. So that's, you have kind of a set schedule with that. For Instagram in particular, Facebook. So these are where they vary. Facebook, honestly, because we had a lot of marketing training through the companies I worked with. Tribune Publishing was one of the last companies that owned one of my news stations. So we had the benefits of them being corporate, which is why I have a verification on all my social medias because they had connections. So with Facebook, you can post about every hour to 2 hours for the entire day. And it loves you the more you post. So Facebook loves the more you post, the more you put out there. They love it. They love anything celebratory. I tell people to hack Facebook by using the words like happy, congratulations, celebrate, because that feeds right into the things that we want to see. Because when you log onto Facebook, the first thing you see is who had a baby, who got engaged, who had a birthday, and who died. That's really your top posts. And that's for a good reason. So if you ever have anything celebratory, like, pimp it out on Facebook because it will go to everybody. Instagram, when you're on Instagram, I aim for one time a day or one post a day. But on our actual page, honestly, it's what's best for you that doesn't cause stress, because I'm also a big proponent of not overdoing it and burning yourself out. So we usually post once a day. I post in the morning. And that's just usually done where I have kind of a calendar that I lay out what we're going to be talking about for the week, the month. We use, right. I've created like every tool known to man. Like, I have like planning calendars and 90-day planners and all sorts of stuff. So that makes it easier, like batching content for that. And then stories, it really is best to show up 3 times a day, in the morning, in the afternoon, and in the evening, because they're gone.
Yeah.
So to stay top of feed, which is the one that has the little ring on it, you have to be fresh. So when people are going to be on before they go to work, during lunch, and when they get home, those are the 3 times you should be doing an Instagram story a day. And then on your feed, honestly, I mean, as long as you're on there at least 3 times a week, it keeps you going. Instagram's weird because if your stories are performing like crap, just stop for 24 hours doing everything on the platform.
Yeah.
It actually resets your algorithm for like being seen. So if your stories are performing like crap days and days and days in a row, stop trying. Don't do it for 24 hours and then re-engage. And it'll be like, ooh, they posted again. Let's show them off. It's really fickle. But consistency is key, because you just need to train your audience for what you are willing to do.
Yeah.
Don't let them control it. So if you post, say, I'm going to do, motivation Monday, workout Wednesday, and food Friday, like, say those are 3 things that you're going to consistently do every week. Stick to that so they know, because people love predictability. The reason you hear news people say the same phrases over and over again is because people at home, it makes them feel more comfortable and it makes them feel like they know you.
Right.
So as long as you stick to a schedule, whether that be, every other day, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 7 days a week, stick to it. And again, you said it before too. If you miss a couple days, seriously, the world does not care that much about you. Like, they are going to go on their own. You're not going to lose everybody because you didn't show up for 48 hours. And in essence, it honestly helps you, because if you're off of a platform, I know you've all seen this, where you get on and all of a sudden it's like, so-and-so posted for the first time in a while. It actually can help you sometimes get back into the feed, to take a break and get active again. There's a lot of different ways, but those are my 2 that I usually try to attain, is at least staying consistent with 3 to 7 posts on my feed and 3 stories a day. That's usually my Instagram plan.
So for you personally, are you in love with everything you post? Like, do you like, because it goes back to kind of what I was saying earlier, like if you have nothing, like, do you ever post something and you're posting it because I need to get a post up? Or is it always something that you do feel
Not
is
anymore.
relevant?
I
So
stopped
you make,
doing that.
yeah, you may, if you haven't, because that's always the thing I wonder. Because I mean, again, I do believe when people say that a certain amount of posts actually helps you stay kind of top of feed and that sort of
Mhm.
thing. But and I personally go through this. If I have nothing that I feel is really relevant, and I know going even into Gary V type stuff, and then this is something that he had said that I actually did agree with. He's like, let the audience decide what's good.
Yeah.
But I still do believe that if I have nothing that I feel I need to say, that I don't want to just post for the sake of posting. And I think whether it is Instagram or even in this case, YouTube, I think some of the guys with their workouts go through that. Like they want to try and do 30 workouts in 30 days. So they're just firing off 3-minute, 4-minute fluff workouts or things. And they're really rushing through it and mistakes are being made, but they feel like it might give them some momentum. And it's like, do you have an opinion on that? Do you just treat that on a case to case basis or?
I think it's basic. I mean, that's why, like, seriously, like having a calendar, if you are a person that goes to that as your default, like you have to get attention and you have to post for that to make you feel good, have a plan at least, for God's sakes. Don't just, again, spray and pray with everything. But like we try and like break it down into, like your goals for each quarter. What are you trying to do? Are you launching something? Are you building awareness for a launch? Are you trying to promote your services? Which one are you promoting? So how are we going to lead up to that? So, and this is with marketing across the board. You kind of have to have a brand plan for the year. Even if that plan changes, it at least gives you an idea. So when you have topics or you have these like buckets of information you're going to pull from, you can go ahead and actually give real content. If there are days when you're just like, I can't think today, I haven't had coffee, I'm tired, you still have things in your bank that are like, oh, this is a topic. I'm going to do all 5 posts this week. Each day is on a different recipe using cauliflower. So you at least know what you're going to be talking about. It kind of at least makes it purposeful. I try not on my personal page. I honestly could care anymore. I stopped trying to grow that years ago. But if I post something on there, it's whatever's in my brain. I'm not a pre-writer because I write what I'm feeling that moment every day. But we post on Reframe every day at like around, breakfast time, because that's my time to sit there. But I also love it. And I love what we're talking about because it's about images and brands. So I go on, and some days I don't know what I'm going to say, but, we create a lot of images that tell stories. So sometimes I let the images dictate that. I'm like, ooh, this is a really great story in this picture. I'm going to talk about that. Or it's a tip that I see that just came up on social media that I need to share with everybody because I like to hack everything. So I am the hacker of all apps and anything I can. I think it's honestly what fits you and your audience the best. But just having a actual plan of like, okay, I know at least I have a holiday coming up that I'm doing. Everybody's New Year's rush. If you're not strategizing now on how you're going to build that no trust like factor going into Christmas and the holidays, you are going to fail your launch in January. So why are you starting, start a couple months out, give yourself those weeks of, I'm going to do nothing but deliver value for these 4 weeks. And that might be clips of your program coming up, a recipe from your program, something that you're teasing ahead to. And then you're going to be into core, like, this is exactly what you're going to get. And then you're going to go into sales mode and you're going to sell your ass off for 4 weeks. And basically every post is sales. And I know a lot of people hate, like, they're like, don't be so salesy on Instagram. Why the hell are you there then? Like, you're wasting your time if you're not promoting something.
Exactly.
If it's a business, if it's just for fun, have at it. But a lot of women we work with, it's not, it's their job. So if you're not using it as that, give yourself a couple days off to regroup and go back at it again with an actual plan instead of just posting crap. Because I think, consumers are smart now. They know when you're just writing bullshit to write. Like
Yeah.
they can see right through it.
So this is a question. It's hard for me to ask questions like this because I'm so anti-Instagram.
I know. It's
But
fun though.
yeah, like, so if someone was going to not listen to me, which is fine, and they're going to post on Instagram, this may, I'm trying to say best, like, I'm a big proponent of discovery content and community content,
Yeah.
which is basically, you know, one that's pulling in new people, one that's talking to the people you have. If somebody is trying to build a YouTube channel and they're trying to engage audiences on other social media platforms for their YouTube channel, would you, like, if you were dealing with this, do you think they should be trying to build the audience on Instagram and posting the videos on Instagram? Or do you think they should be trying to build an audience on Instagram with other posts? And then, like, I guess what I'm getting to is people, what they're doing and what I see is they post a clip of the video in their stories, for example, with an immediate click through, go to YouTube. Do you think they should be trying to build a relationship on Instagram and then slowly, almost like instead of going A to B, maybe going A to B and then B to C eventually? Does that make sense? I know it's kind of.
No, it totally makes sense. And that one, again, I think is kind of situational in the fact of what your content is, because if it's a 10-minute workout, obviously it's not going to live on Instagram. So people would expect to click off and go somewhere else.
Yeah.
Most of the time, I would say, you know, having YouTube in your links. So maybe if you're really trying to build your YouTube channel and you don't want someone going to your website or an email, anything else, that's your link in your bio on Instagram. And that's basically, it says in it, this is what I do. And it has a call to action that says, get free content, try my 5 workouts or whatever here on YouTube. Like, I would just be very direct about it, that's where your loyalty lies, or that's where you're trying to get everyone to go. The Instagram, I mean, that's why I'm a big proponent on where your person spends the most time. Because once you know more about your ideal person and what you're actually servicing them with or what you're going to offer, you can determine what's the best platform. So for some people, no, Instagram sucks. They're never going to find their people there. Some people, YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook suck. They should only be on LinkedIn because that's where their people are. So it really is very discretionary to each person's what they want. But I have in the past, when we did have our YouTube channel, we didn't see much success promoting it on Instagram, quite honestly. But we would have a post that would have a 10-second clip embedded in a post. Like I would, go in Canva, or I would go and edit it in. So it looked good. And it was like, okay, call to action is go click the link in our bio.
Right.
So, but that also is another step. So unless you have people who already know you a little bit, I do think you have to spend a little bit of time educating them on what your purpose is, and then say, this is where I'm going to deliver value to you. It's not going to be on this page. Because if you're delivering workouts on there, and you can now, IGTV, I mean, we knew during the pandemic, every fitness magazine, they had people doing workouts every damn day that you could join live. And then they saved them into their IGTV, which you could watch and work out anytime.
Yeah.
It's very similar to YouTube, but not as searchable and not as easy to find.
Yeah.
So it has a lot of drawbacks in that sense. So I think it's really goal related of what you want to do with your brand and where you want people to end up. I mean, and again, I'm a huge fan of YouTube because obviously I'm on it all the time. But it's just, I think IG is just my personal favorite because I can really find people that fit our ideal client, our MVP are on there. So, finding them on YouTube, we do, photo shoot retreats. A lot of women on YouTube are searching for do-it-yourself answers. We want people who want to hire us to do it for them.
Right.
So for us, Instagram is more where we put most of our, eggs in that basket. But everybody's different. But I do think if you're going to promote your page, definitely just change your bio to that and be really honest about it in your bio. Don't sugarcoat it and try and keep sending people off. Just be like, this is, who I help, what I do. Click here because this is where I'm going to give you the best content.
It makes me wonder because, I mean, again, my wheels are turning as we're talking. And if someone's goal was to drive traffic to a website, like let's say they decided that their ultimate goal is a membership, like private videos thing on a website, maybe they don't have to be like instead of driving people from Instagram to YouTube to a website, maybe they should be either posting content directly to IGTV, like you said, or posting shorts on IGTV and driving them directly to the website.
Yeah,
Like
if you're using a membership platform,
yeah, like because again, like it's such different audiences. Like obviously, my most desired audience is the people that are watching YouTube on smart TVs, because my highest view duration is there, because they've got the TV in front of them and they're doing the video.
Yeah.
And then next to that is laptop, and then the lowest one is always mobile phones.
Okay. Yeah.
But if you were to watch who's watching videos on Instagram, it's probably the exact opposite.
It is. Yeah.
Which again, so it's interesting. Like we'll have to get you on a few times to help these guys. Because I've thought about that.
I love talking about it because there's so many, and that's why I said if anybody has questions, you can totally throw them up there, because it's something that is so personal.
Yeah.
And your brand is very personal, and your image is very personal. So I can't, and I also don't ever give a one size fits all to a lot of things, because we operate on a principle in branding where it's really like 3 steps, because it's like identify, attract, and then convert.
Yeah.
So you spend this time figuring out this person, then you're attracting them with content value, creating images or videos, and then you're converting, which may be your pipelines, your systems, where they're going to go, all of those things. So it's a multi-tiered process, and it's not cut and dry. I hate seeing people out there, and I know you're so good at this too, that do this system and you're going to make 6 figures in 3 months because you're going to funnel all these people in. It's disingenuous. It's usually like terrible photos that are just cheesy and over sexualized, and they bait people in, and then they harass the hell out of them until they buy something.
I try hard not to comment on that stuff. Like I've got different, because I'm from the East Coast and we swear a lot.
I do, yeah.
And I try and keep a certain level of professionalism, but it's like, I hate that stuff. And I would welcome any one of those people to come on my show and have a one-on-one, because I'll destroy them.
Yeah, that's a fun battle to have, because it's definitely, but you know your people. Like I think people can tell, and we've been very lucky. We've hosted, finally, after the pandemic kind of broke, we were able to get these women together in groups again. And because we had spent so much time nurturing and giving value to these people, it was flawless, because they were all our MVP. They all got along. And that's how you want, and you said, building communities. The community part of it is you want people who support each other, that you don't have to oversee everything.
Yeah.
So the more you attract similar people that have similar, like, the less you can be hands off in your business, and they actually just promote for you. Like you create that evangelical system of people like, oh my gosh, this person's amazing. And that's, referrals are our lifeline for a lot of this stuff. So yeah, the community side, I definitely, like, you have to be on a stance on certain things. Like you can't waffle back and forth. You just can't.
No, exactly. Exactly.
I love it. But yeah, I love talking about all of it. So I'm happy to break down. And we didn't even really get into too much of the media PR stuff. So we're going to have to.
Like, if you have time, let's touch on that quick. Because that's a big part of what you do. And again, if you're, average Joe, and you are trying to get some of that exposure on your brand, how do you do that, in your opinion?
It is so easy. It is so easy.
Okay, take notes, people.
People, I kid you not, please stop thinking you are not worthy of media, because everybody has a story. Everybody has a talent. It takes the step of actually doing it. I mean, it's really how simple it is. So to, again, demystify things in TV land, I booked guests on our morning show for 12 years. I never once looked at someone's follower count, their media kit, none of it. Not once, not one time did I ever ask anyone for that. Why did I book them? Because they reached out, they had a skill that was something I needed, whether it be, I ran segments for every Friday we did Mom on Deals. So this mom came on and gave all the parents what was going on in the area for cheap. I had a personal trainer that I brought on regularly that did workouts for us. I had a nutritionist I brought on regularly who did, would go over like how to prep meals for kids for back to school, or make healthy lunches, or create a Valentine's Day dessert that's healthy. So I had a list of people. The reason those people got on air is they knew somebody who worked there. They were willing to show up. They were on time. They were prepared. And they basically, and this is the worst part of it all. If you feed anybody in television or media or radio, they will have you back a million times. So show up with like Chick-fil-A or donuts and they'll have you back. Like, it's really that easy. But you just have to know what you want to talk about and look where you can fit in. So most personal trainers, obviously news stations always want to have segments around, how to beat the bloat of the holidays, or how to, New Year's resolutions, why they work, why they don't work, what you need to do to make them work. When you go into, kids back to school, how to get kids healthy to work out for the summertime. There's a lot of news story possibilities out there. So if you are in fitness and wellness in particular, look at the seasons and look at where you can offer value, same way you would your clients. The next step is honestly really simple. Make a Google spreadsheet of all of the stations in your area. Make one now because of Zoom. We can all do everything virtually all across the country. Just start making those connections. Go on social media. So most people in television live on Twitter. Twitter is their biggest platform because that's where news happens quickly. So following them on Twitter, Facebook is where they go to post their stories. So following that page and starting to share and engage, and then go to Instagram, follow. Instagram's where you get personal. Like, you go onto their page and you're like, oh, you're from Michigan too? I grew up in Michigan. Where'd you grow up? Or, you have a dog. How long have you had your dog? Oh, you rescued him from a shelter. So did I. Where did you find him? Start asking questions on Instagram. And that's where they live. That's where all news people live, in those three modalities all the time. Once you create the connection, honestly, all it takes is one email or one DM of, hey, I've got this great story. I have props. I have this. I can be available whenever you need me. Let me know if you want me on the show.
So you're talking about actually connecting with the faces of these shows, like reporters, or so there's not like an actual producer email they need to find somewhere hidden.
There are. I mean, there's producers for every show, but quite honestly, the producers, so in TV news, everybody has a horrible schedule. So you either work from 3 a.m. to 1 p.m., 9 a.m. to 6 p.m., and 2 p.m. to 11 p.m., or you work overnight, which is 10 p.m. until 7 in the morning. They're horrible schedules in general. You never have free time. So people who are actually producing shows typically are not making connections in the public to fill need, but they are searching for stories. It's the reporter's job and the anchor's job to find stories. So if you can make their job easier and show up with a list of stories on a platter of, hopefully with food on it, they will literally, they'll be like, oh, okay. Well, if are you comfortable being on TV? I mean, I've had people on television today. I interviewed two people. I was on live today, two people who have never been on television before.
Nice.
It went fine because I tell everybody, if you're an expert in your field, you cannot fail when you're delivering information. So why are you scared? Because you're just delivering information like you would if it was a new client. So don't be scared of it. It's just, and again, nobody cares. Like, just get on, make mistakes, have fun. But it really is that easy. Sometimes it takes time, and it's better if you know someone. There is another website. It's called helpareporterout.com. So HARO. And you can go on there and you can put in your expertise. And every day they will send you reporters who are searching for people in your field to speak. And if you're available, you jump online. And I got to look if that's the right. I know the website is like it might be the HAR, but
may or may not.
Hold on. Well, it's Help a Reporter Out. So if you search that, it'll show up.
Oh, okay.
So it's definitely, let me see if I can get to it. Help a reporter. But it definitely is that simple to do. And I can tell you right now, I mean, I booked those guests for so long and never looked at their credentials, never looked at anything. I just cared that they showed up, they had all their stuff ready to go, and they helped me make my job easier. Because it's definitely hard. Oh, it's helpareporter.com. I'm sorry, guys. No out. I was totally
disregard.
Helpareporter.com. But it's those type of sites are out there, and they allow you to connect with media that are looking for last minute stories. So don't be demanding. You're getting free advertising that's worth thousands of dollars. So make the most of your time. And it doesn't have to be about you. I mean, any stories online do not have to be about you. It could be a client. If you have a client battling breast cancer that you've helped, after chemo, that's a great story.
Mhm.
And you're not the story, but you're helping that person. And how good does that person feel that you've spotlighted them? So the reciprocity on that, you're just going to get people who are like, oh, that's a personal trainer who cares.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of ways to use media creatively for your business.
I think oftentimes it's not even a fear of going on camera. It's a fear of judgment from your peers in fitness. And again, which is something that's just got to go away, because who cares?
I don't care.
You know,
I didn't want to do television, to be honest. I had a fear of speaking until I was 27. And
Oh, wow.
I was forced into television by people who thought I'd be good at it. And I didn't want to do it. Didn't want to do it. It was like, I cannot speak on camera. I can't do it. And now I've been doing it for 17 years. So
amazing.
don't discredit yourself if you're listening. Like, please take the chance, because if you're an expert and you have something to share, trust me, the world needs it. And we need quality people to step up and be in the media and showcase things that are positive. So don't discredit that as a line of getting, you're not going to get a ton of clients from it. I'm going to be honest about that. But you are going to get credibility, and you're going to get media to tease yourself. So you can post that you're this credible expert now. And then that makes all of your channels and social media look better. So
most definitely.
There's a lot I can go. Media and PR, we could have a whole nother session on finding pitches and a lot of stuff that we teach in our group.
Maybe we'll get you back on again in Savage Creates. That's the hardest part for me. Which part, Savage? Going on camera?
Speaking on camera. He's usually behind the camera, so I know he's a photographer.
Yeah, we're Instagram pals. I think we discovered each other through James.
Yeah, through Fitposium. Yeah.
Small industry.
It's a very small, but again, that's why even KJ, when you said that before, that it's saturated. No, it's just we follow everybody in our own industry, so we think it's saturated. There's billions of other people on the planet. Like they're out there. They're not in fitness, I can promise you. But overcoming camera, there is no way to sugarcoat it. You just have to do it. And then you have to do it again. And then you have to do it again. And then you have to do it again. I was shaking for like the first 2 weeks I was on air. Like I felt like I was going to throw up every morning.
Yeah. Yeah. Like Savage is saying, fear of judgment. I was like that a bit. Like I don't mind being on camera because my degree is actually in broadcast journalism. So, but for me, it was, if you go back on Fitness Marketing Hub channel to my earlier videos, you can see that I'm very not unsure of what I'm talking about, but I'm unsure that I should be talking at all. Because, and again, like I've always kind of reiterated to people that I'm not an expert at this, but I have so many stories of failures that have helped me, like, and that along with having several different kinds of jobs. Like I've been a personal trainer. I've worked in a executive role with a big supplement company who sponsors athletes. And then like everything kind of in between that, it just makes a very sort of, it makes me special, just like everyone else has their own collage of things that they've done, which makes them special at a certain thing. But at first when I did that, I was thinking the same thing, like peers and stuff, thinking that, well, why is he talking about that? But I literally, it was a snap just in one day. I'm like, who the F cares what they think anymore? Because I've put 20 years into what I do, and I am, and I'll reiterate a lot of things that are just my opinion. Like when I say that I don't use Instagram to grow YouTube, that's my opinion. Somebody else could come on here tomorrow and say that I'm nuts, and they could actually prove me wrong. So it's like, a lot of things are just my opinion, and it's just, I have the right to my opinion.
Yeah.
And that's
it works. Like yours works. You obviously make it work. So it's not built on nothing. It's
But the industry that we're in, like, and I don't know if Savage is thinking from fitness perspective or from a creator perspective, but like, who cares? Like everybody's going to, I'm not a cinematographer, and cinematographers will critique my work all the time, but you know what? I've done bigger projects than they have. So, it's my opinion, and just like it's his, and hopefully they have good makeup to cover up the red face.
Also, KJ, news stations don't have makeup people. I've had to do my own makeup for my entire career, so please don't think they have anything there for you. They will not help you with that. That's also a misconception. You get paid jack and you work
Yeah.
horrible hours and they don't give you makeup, hair, or wardrobe. So,
And that's why I never went on TV after I
he already
wasted my time at school. I've used it, but just
well,
not for what I was.
I didn't go to school for it and got thrown into it. So it was a totally different trajectory for me.
Yeah.
But the judgment part, this is the thing that I like to tell people is, one, we have the attention span of a gnat. So by the time you make a mistake and move on with it, no one's going to care 5-10 seconds later. And two, if someone's going to judge you, you're the one who had the balls to step up and do it. So if they're going to judge you based on the fact that they didn't get that opportunity, then you should be proud of that judgment, not defeated by it. Because I have lifted myself up on all of my criticisms because I was dubbed as the chick who was still a bartender who had no intelligence. Like I was, labeled as being an airhead or a bimbo because I bartended, wore the cute clothes, and I could put on makeup to make myself like it's a smoke and mirror show over here, guys.
Yeah.
But when I would go to the news station and I was able to decipher information on the fly and be able to remember facts and new things, people were honestly surprised. And that judgment fueled me more than anything because I was like, now I'm just going to prove you wrong. So don't let it hold you back.
Well, I like there was a transition whenever I was in school, and it was where you were starting to see a little more emphasis on looks in journalism. And I had professors who were female who didn't fit in the looks department so much. And they had a big problem with that because it was just starting to happen. And they were constantly, and I would watch them actually be very critical of the cuter girls in classes simply because they just didn't like them. And some of them were actually good. It's like, if you can speak and you're articulate and all that, like, but it's just, it was a thing that wasn't there in the past. And I saw it a lot from seasoned female reporters that they didn't like that these new girls were not even going to school and being pushed through. So I can imagine there was some resistance for a while.
It's interesting, but I mean, I've also, I've had a minimum of 2 to 4 jobs at a time my entire life. So I've never worked less than 2 jobs, and I've worked up to 6 jobs at a time. So I am a workaholic, and I built my, like as a kid, I knew that I had to work hard to prove myself all the time. And, as long as you have a good work ethic, it will eventually show through. But people are judgmental no matter where you are. Like, it doesn't matter what business.
Exactly.
But TV land is, it's definitely changed in that regard too, because it went from, you never thought a woman would wear a sleeveless dress on air either. And that was faux pas for, when I started. And I also still remember, like, I was trying so hard to fit in the beginning. I cut my hair and I, would wear the blazers, and my voice was, Skycam 3 traffic. Like, it was like the cheesiest damn voice you've ever heard in your life. And I was like, why am I trying so hard? And it wasn't until this is why it's not going to happen overnight for anybody who's scared to be on camera. It took me years, almost 3 years before I was comfortable. And then it took me another 2 years to realize that the less I gave an F about what I was doing, the more I was able to really connect with viewers and they could see the real me. And that's when I built relationships that honestly have helped me in every aspect of my business now. Because, connections with people who are in different, CPAs and attorneys and things that help me build my business. So don't be afraid to, kind of let it out the window and just give 0 Fs and do what you want to do.
I also feel very much that natural inflection and hesitations and that they're like, to me, it's very realistic and it builds trust.
It does.
So I do talk, like, my channel, this particular channel did not grow until the live stream started. The videos were good, but the videos were always like, hey, everybody, Regan here for Fitness Market. And I just firing it off. But once this came out, you kind of feel like you know me a little bit more as opposed to just seeing this like talking head. And so when you're on something like this, like, and you're able to, if you hesitate or stutter, or all that's doing is just people know that you haven't memorized anything. You're speaking from experience, from the heart, and it does come off very good. A lot of people don't realize that, and it's not something where you have to be perfect in terms of your presentation. Like, that's why I hate teleprompters. I don't know what your feelings are on those, but I find teleprompters, they make people robots. And you start to see them, they're like, when they're talking, and it's like, there's a teleprompter there. It's like, just talk. If you need to
Yeah.
stop, if you need to think for a second, just do it. People are fine with that.
Yeah, the prompter. And I'm really proud of you, KJ, because I know how hard it is to do video. I mean, so I feel you on that because I'm very proud of you for doing it. The prompter thing, the first 5 years I was there, I didn't read a prompter because I was all ad lib. I did traffic in the morning and then I helped do stories. So I never used a prompter until I started on the actual news desk. And they just said, hey, in 2 weeks, you're taking over our noon show. And I was like, does anybody here realize I don't know how to read a prompter and I've been here 5 years? And they were like, you still haven't read the prompter? I'm like, no. I'm like, when would I do it? I don't use it. So I went in a crash course of prompter reading that I was given a full 2 weeks, which equaled maybe a couple hours because it was like 10 minutes a day of learning to read a prompter. And now I can't say, I mean, I can read it. You never know. I read one now because I skip words. So I read way ahead. I fill in my own language. Like but that was an acquired skill over a decade of reading a prompter. But it's, don't. And that's why anybody who's doing video, and I don't know if you tell them this, but even when I do video, I do bullet points. So I'll have a Post-it that just has like intro, like this point, and then 1, 2, 3, and then like maybe it's a price point or a website. And that's how I encourage anyone to do their videos. And I don't know if you kind of teach them the same thing when they're doing it.
I don't talk about that a whole lot. But like something I learned, like even before I went to school and all that, like I was actually a pro wrestler, believe it or not. And
oh my God, I didn't know that.
Yeah. And you could find me on YouTube if you look hard enough.
Oh, I'm finding you. I'm still finding you.
But one of the things when it came to learning promos, that my trainer had taught me, he's like, the more you try and remember, the more you're going to forget in terms of a promo or even a wrestling match for that matter. Go in there and treat it like a fight. Like if you knock somebody down, don't pick him up again. That doesn't make sense. If you're in a fight, you're going to get down on the ground. So things like that. But yeah, it's the same thing where it's like the more you try and remember, the more you're going to forget. And then also even in your presentation, you start to kind of look up at your brain for answers and stuff because you're trying to think of what's next. And it does. It hurts your presentation. And you don't, to me, it's very hard to go from discovery to having somebody in your community if they don't really feel like what you're saying is authentic. And even though it might be authentic, if you don't, if it doesn't sound like it's coming from you, then it's hard to really know. And I do think subliminally that people don't totally trust people until it really feels like it's coming from them.
True.
Yeah.
Very true. But yeah, bullet points, like I always tell people, like put little bullet points up. That's the best way to do it. And don't like, I had a friend send me a video the other day because of course my friends all still send me stuff for approval all the time. And he had sent me the video and he was like, you know, it was about calling out someone who was trolling his business online. And he was like, he just kind of did the video and he's like, now I hate the ending. I think I should change this. I think I should do this. And I was like, it's absolutely perfect. Yeah. Because it's you being pissed off about someone trying to take your clients. And you said it very, very well. And I said, just shut up and post it. Like I literally was like, just shut up, get off the text, go post it right now and walk away.
Yeah. Because don't overthink it.
People, when you start re-recording things 800 times, like it's just, you're going to get contrived and it's going to sound terrible. Same with live television, live video. Just have fun. I mean, we all know what we're talking about. So just keep talking.
Exactly. Don't overthink it.
No, stop overthinking it.
So if anybody wants to follow you or check out some of the things you're doing, where do you want to send them?
Let's see. So we, everything on mine is always Kristen Crowley TV. So it's pretty easy to remember. And then we have at Reframe Your Biz on Instagram. And then the website. Oh, we do have, since we're launching our fun stuff next year, we are doing our brand image webinar coming up that we're doing our 3 proprietary steps to branding. So we're actually doing a webinar on that that's going to be launching in December, but everybody on here can kind of get that first access if they want to jump on the website. And that's just reframeyourbiz.com. So it's pretty simple. Awesome. But just shoot me a message. If you have questions on stuff, I'm an open book too. And we're going to I'm very honest and I will share experiences. So anytime you have questions, just let me know. And I am totally here for it. But yeah, sign up for the webinar because it's going to be, I think, interesting. We talk more about that identify, attract, convert idea and why most people miss the boat when it comes to their branding.
Absolutely. We should get you and Jill both on here sometime like in the next month or two again too, and you can promote whatever's coming up.
Oh yeah, yeah, she's fun. My business partner is very fun.
She's in Toronto, right? Because she could be
She's in Toronto.
live.
Yeah, she could come with you. She could be on your end, and come meet you in the studio. Honestly, she's she's in Oakville, so she's not far.
Yeah, it's like 45 minutes.
Yeah, so we have a very two-sided approach because she's very cognitive based.
Yeah.
She's actually a cognitive behavioral like therapist. She does that.
Yeah.
I'm this creative ball of energy, but we have the exact same moral standings. So it creates a really fun dynamic for us to be super goofy, but to get things done and to help people. So yeah, that would be fun. We could definitely do that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So any of you guys that are still left here, if you haven't already, please like this video if you liked it today. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel if it's your first time here. And I know some of you, it is your first time here. So we will leave it at that. Kristen, thank you very much for taking the time. I was a solid hour and a half. So
didn't even feel like it, which is crazy.
No, it's good.
And for like 3 hours and still keep going.
I love when somebody can come on and school me and stuff because I think I know everything and I quite obviously don't. So hearing stuff about, because again, like the Instagram and Facebook, and I know there's value in those pages, but I don't know a lot about them. I stick more so to YouTube because that is my wheelhouse. So having somebody come on who can actually really paint the picture and help people utilize all of these, because at the end of the day, my goal is not for people to necessarily grow YouTube. It's to grow online brands.
Yeah.
I just happen to use YouTube as my anchor, so to speak. So they can just as easily be using Instagram, Facebook, all three in some way. And so it's really neat. And it just really kind of expands on what I've been talking about. So it's awesome. And KJ, so many helpful tips, advice, and thoughts. Definitely got some new energy, motivation to start planning great content. That's awesome, KJ. KJ is like in Sweden. I don't know if it's Sweden or Dubai. So it's probably like the middle of the night there.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So thanks for coming out, KJ. But we'll leave it at that, guys. Thank you to everyone who came today. And I will be talking to you guys very soon.
All right.
See
Thanks
ya.
for having me. Bye.